আপনাদের সবাইকে অনেক অনেক শুভেচ্ছা। ঈদ মোবারক।
পবিত্র ঈদ উল আজহা উপলক্ষে বিশেষ ব্যান্ড শো, উপস্থাপনা মমরেজ মাহমুদ, প্রযোজনা ইয়াসির আরাফাত। দেখবেন ঈদের দ্বিতীয় দিন সন্ধ্যে 7টায়। ঈদের এই বর্ণিল আয়োজনে বাংলাদেশ টেলিভিশনের সঙ্গেই থাকুন।
অন্যের ধূমপানের ধোঁয়াও আপনার ফুসফুস ক্যান্সারের কারণ হতে পারে। কয়েক মিনিটের মধ্যে
প্রতি বছর বাংলাদেশে প্রায় 25,000 মানুষ পরোক্ষ ধূমপানের শিকার হয়ে মারা যায়। অন্যের ধূমপানের ধোঁয়া থেকেও হার্ট অ্যাটাক, ব্রেন স্ট্রোক ও ফুসফুস ক্যান্সার হতে পারে। শিশু ও গর্ভের সন্তানেরও ক্ষতি হতে পারে। ধূমপানের সময় তো বটেই, ধোঁয়া দীর্ঘস্থায়ী হয় বলে ধূমপানের পরেও অন্যদের ক্ষতি হতে পারে। ধূমপান ছাড়ুন, নিজেকে ও আপনজনকে নিরাপদ রাখুন।
Narendra Modi sworn in as Indian Prime Minister for the third consecutive term in a ceremony in New Delhi, attended by world leaders, including Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. Looters were not punished during BNP regime, but Awami League will not spare any corrupt person, says Upazilla. Last phase of 6th Upazilla Parichad elections concludes with vote counting underway in 19 Upazillas suspended earlier due to Cyclone Remel. Bangladesh Journalist Welfare Trust is an evidence of Sheikh Hasina-led government's goodwill in protecting the journalists, says State Minister for Information and Broadcasting Muhammad Ali Arafat. Hamas announces to continue resistance against Israel as Israeli attacks killed 274 more Palestinians in the last 24 hours in Gaza. And Bangladesh face South African ICC T20 World Cup tomorrow in New York. Assalamu alaikum. This is Shamim Khan, welcoming you all to News at 10. Those were the headlines. We now move on to the news and details.
তোমরা জানো তোমাদের আমি ভালোবাসি, আর আমিও জানি তোমরা আমাকে ভালোবাসো। তোমার কাছে আমার একটা অনুরোধ রইল, যেদিন তোমরা যদি সন্দেহ করো যে আমার ভালোবাসার মধ্যে কোনো কৃপণতা আছে, সেদিন আমি বলে দিও আমি চিরদিন তোমাকে বিদায় নিয়ে যাব। আমি সব ত্যাগ করতে পারি, তোমাদের ভালোবাসা আমি ত্যাগ করতে পারি না।
Narendra Modi has been sworn in as India's Prime Minister for a rare third consecutive term today. Narendra Modi and his cabinet ministers took the oath administered by President Draupadi Murmu at India's presidential palace, Rashtrapati Bhavan, in New Delhi this evening.
मैं नरेंद्र दामोदर दास मोदी ईश्वर की शपथ लेता हूं कि मैं विधि द्वारा स्थापित भारत के संविधान के प्रति सच्ची श्रद्धा और निष्ठा रखूंगा।
This is the first time the BJP under Modi needed support from its regional allies to form a government after a decade of commanding majority in parliament. Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina attended the oath-taking ceremony of Narendra Modi. She joined the oath-taking ceremony as the third foreign leader at the Rashtrapati Bhavan with her daughter Saima Wajid. Top leaders from Sri Lanka, Maldives, Bhutan, Nepal, Mauritius and Seychelles joined the swearing-in ceremony of Modi that witnessed a record presence of over 8,000 dignitaries. Marking the oath-taking ceremony, New Delhi has been put under stringent multi-layered security measures aimed at ensuring safety in and out of the Rashtrapati Bhavan. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina reiterated her country's eagerness to import hydroelectricity from Bhutan through India. Import of hydroelectricity will require a tripartite agreement involving India, and her government has already brought the matter to India's attention, she said. The Premier said this when Bhutanese Prime Minister Dasho Shering Topgai paid a courtesy call on her in New Delhi this afternoon. While briefing, Foreign Minister Dr. Hassan Mahmood said during the meeting the entire gamut of bilateral relations between the countries came up for discussion. Both the countries reiterated their commitment of enhancing the existing multifaceted relations, he said. The Bhutanese Prime Minister thanked the Bangladesh Premier for building a burn unit in his country and giving essential drugs for 1 year. He highly praised the development of Bangladesh under the dynamic leadership of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. The Premier sought for more Bhutanese investment in Bangladesh. The Bhutanese Prime Minister highly praised Saima Wajid, only daughter of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina and WHO Regional Director for Southeast Asia, and mentioned her recent visit to Bhutan. Earlier, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina paid a courtesy call on senior BJP leader Lal Krishna Advani. During the meeting, both the leaders talked about their personal matters. They also exchanged pleasantries and reminisced past memories. President Mohammad Shahabuddin visited Pabna Diabetic Society this evening. During his visit to Pabna, the President went to the Diabetic Society and inquired about development activities and treatment of Diabetic Society. President Mohammad Shahabuddin also exchanged greetings with local people. Secretaries to the President were present. Earlier, President Mohammad Shahabuddin arrived in Pabna on a 4-day visit this noon. A helicopter carrying the President and his wife, Dr. Rebecca Sultana, landed at Pabna District Stadium. Local people's representatives and officials welcomed the President. Bangladesh and its economy are progressing indomitably under the official leadership of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, addressing the realities caused by Ukraine-Russia war, Israeli aggression in Gaza and the COVID situation. Members of Parliament made this assessment today. They were speaking on the supplementary budget of 2023-24 fiscal year in the Jatiya সংসদ. The session of the House began in the morning with Speaker Dr. Shirin Sharmin Chaudhry in the chair. The lawmaker said the country sees development if Awami League is in power, turning the country into a developing nation from the LDC list. This government initiated a number of mega projects, including construction of Pabna Bridge, elevated expressway, construction of Bangabandhu Tunnel underneath the Kornafuli River, Matarbari Deep Seaport and metro rail in the capital. On the other hand, BNP while in power builds Hawa Bhavan and Khoab Bhavan as well as carries out looting and laundering money abroad, they added. The members of Parliament also said that Bangladesh will be a rich and smart country by 2041 through proper implementation of the budget. Earlier, Finance Minister Abul Hassan Mahmood Ali placed Bangladesh Securities and Exchange Commission Report 2022-23. The session of the Parliament was adjourned till 4 p.m. tomorrow. Speaker Dr. Shirin Sharmin Chaudhry said, the Budget Help Desk assists all members of Parliament with information and data. Budget debriefing sessions have an important role to play in allowing members of Parliament to participate in important discussions on the budget. She said members of Parliament can take part in active discussions by collecting information and data from the Budget Debriefing Session and Budget Analysis and Monitoring Unit. The Speaker said this while speaking as chief guest at the debriefing session 1 and 2 for members of Parliament under the Budget Help Desk 2024 organised by Budget Analysis and Monitoring Unit of Parliament Secretariat in collaboration with European Union, DT Global and Centre for Policy Dialogue at the Oath Room of the সংসদ Bhavan. She inaugurated the budget debriefing session. Senior Secretary of Parliament Secretariat K.M. Abdus Salam presided over the function, while Project Director and Additional Secretary M.A. Kamal Billah moderated it. Members of Parliament and representatives of the European Union were present at the session. Swedish Ambassador to Bangladesh Alexandra Vern Borg Linde paid a courtesy call on Speaker Dr. Shirin Sharmin Chaudhry at her office in the capital yesterday. During the meeting, they discussed various issues including women empowerment, gender equality, budget session and Rohingya issue. Dr. Shirin Sharmin Chaudhry said Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina ensured gender equality and women empowerment. She said women working in the RMG sector are making significant contribution to the country's economy. The Speaker said Rohingya problem has been going on in the country for a long time. She said international goodwill is needed to solve the Rohingya problem. Swedish Ambassador Alexander Berg von Linde said Bangladesh-Sweden bilateral relations have crossed 50 years. She said women of Bangladesh are moving forward, defying all obstacles. She praised Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina and the Speaker for their leadership roles in women development. The looters and corrupts did not face any trial during BNP rule, but the current government will not spare any corrupt person. Awami League General Secretary and Road Transport and Bridges Minister Upazilla said this at a joint meeting of the Awami League at its central office at Bangabandhu Avenue in the capital today.
সাদা তো সাইফুর রহমানও করেছে এবং বেগম খালেদা জিও করেছে, তারাও তাহলে দুর্বৃত্ত। আর লুটপাটের জন্য রাঘব বোয়ালদের এই বাজেটটা করা হয়েছে রাঘব বোয়ালদের লুটপাট বন্ধ করার জন্য, লুটপাটের জন্য নয়। এই যে বিএনপি যে লুটপাটের রাজত্ব সৃষ্টি করেছে এবং দেশকে ধ্বংসের দ্বার প্রান্তে নিয়ে গিয়েছিল, অন্ধকার গব্য থেকে শেখ হাসিনা এই দেশকে উদ্ধার করেছে। লুটপাট করার জন্য নয়, লুটপাট আমরা বন্ধ করেছি। লুটপাট করে কেউ এখানে পার পেয়ে যেতে পারবে না।
Upazilla directed the leaders and activists of his party to remain ready on streets to protect people from BNP's arson violence.
করতে পারবে না, কারণ এই আন্দোলনে জনগণের সম্পৃক্ততা নেই। আমরা ভয় পাই অগ্নি সন্ত্রাস, এই আগুন সন্ত্রাসের সংস্কৃতি তারা চালু করেছে। এর বিরুদ্ধে জনগণের জানমাল রক্ষায় আমাদেরকে অবশ্যই শান্তি সমাবেশ করতে হবে এবং প্রতিরোধ করতে হবে, এবং সেটা আমরা আগেও করেছি, ভবিষ্যতেও এ ধরনের হুমকি মোকাবিলা রাজপথে আওয়ামী লীগ সহযোগীরা মহানগর সবাই আমরা প্রস্তুত।
Awami League Presidium member Jahangir Kobir Nanok, Joint General Secretaries Mahbubul Alam Hanif and AFM Bahauddin Naseem, Organizing Secretaries PM Muzammil Haq, SM Kamal Hussain, Mirza Azam and Shujit Roy Nondi, among others, were present at the joint meeting. Counting of vote is underway in the last phase of the 6th Upazilla Parishad election in 19 Upazillas, where elections were earlier suspended due to Cyclone Remal. Voting started at 8 a.m. and ended at 4 p.m. without any break. According to the Election Commission, 330 candidates are contesting in 19 Upazillas. Among them, 119 are vying for the post of chairman, 132 for the post of vice chairman, and 79 are vying for the post of female vice chairman. Civil Aviation and Tourism Minister Mohammad Farooq Khan said direct air connectivity between Bangladesh and South Korea will play an important role in boosting trade between the two countries. The minister made the remarks while South Korean ambassador in Dhaka Park Yong-sek paid a courtesy call on him at his secretariat office today. Farooq Khan said, though there are currently chartered flights between the two countries, it is necessary to start regular flights by amending the existing air service agreement. During the meeting, the South Korean ambassador said direct air connectivity will play a positive role in improving people-to-people relations between the two countries. State Minister for Information and Broadcasting Muhammad Ali Arafat said the Bangladesh Journalist Welfare Trust BJWT is an evidence of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina-led government's goodwill in protecting the journalists. The State Minister said this while chairing the 30th meeting of the Trustee Board of Bangladesh Journalist Welfare Trust at his ministry's conference room at the Bangladesh Secretariat in Dhaka today. State Minister for Information and Broadcasting presided over the meeting as chairman of the Trustee Board. The State Minister also said Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina established the Journalist Welfare Trust by enacting the Bangladesh Journalist Welfare Trust Act in 2014. The formation of this trust proved that the government led by her is the journalist-friendly one, he added. Muhammad Ali Arafat said the BJWT regularly provides financial assistance to the destitutes, insolvent and injured journalists and families of the deceased journalists. He also said process is underway to launch a scholarship program for the meritorious children of journalists under the trust. Senior Secretary of the Information and Broadcasting Ministry and Vice Chairman of the Trustee Board of Bangladesh Journalist Welfare Trust, Mohammad Humayun Kabir Khondokar, Trustee Board members, Journalist Welfare Trust Managing Director Subhash Chandra Badal, Zafar Wajid, Mohammad Shahinur Mia, Mohammad Sadiqur Rahman, Omar Farooq, Deep Azad, Kashim Humayun, Sohail Haider Chaudhry and Kaleem Sarwar were present at the meeting.
ধূমপানের ধোঁয়াও আপনার ফুসফুস ক্যান্সারের কারণ হতে পারে কয়েক মিনিটের মধ্যে
প্রতি বছর বাংলাদেশে প্রায় 25,000 মানুষ পরোক্ষ ধূমপানের শিকার হয়ে মারা যায় অন্যের ধূমপানের ধোঁয়া থেকেও হার্ট অ্যাটাক ব্রেন স্ট্রোক ও ফুসফুস ক্যান্সার হতে পারে শিশু ও গর্ভের সন্তানেরও ক্ষতি হতে পারে ধূমপানের সময় তো বটেই ধোঁয়া দীর্ঘস্থায়ী হয় বলে ধূমপানের পরেও অন্যদের ক্ষতি হতে পারে ধূমপান ছাড়ুন নিজেকে ও আপনজনকে নিরাপদ রাখুন
Now, international news. Israel's raid on the Nuseirat refugee camp has caused outrage, with the European Union calling it a massacre. Gaza's health ministry said the death toll has risen to 274 and more than 698 others injured. Doctors described the scenes inside al-Aqsa hospital in central Gaza as a complete bloodbath, with one medic saying the inside of the hospital looks like a slaughterhouse. Doctors Without Borders MSF said al-Aqsa and Nasser hospitals are overwhelmed. Israeli forces said they rescued 4 captives held in the attack at Nuseirat refugee camp and criticism due to the large number of civilian casualties. One Israeli officer died during the deadly raid. Meanwhile, Hamas's military spokesman says Israel killed captives in its Nuseirat operation without specifying the circumstances or how many were killed. At least 37,084 people have been killed and 84,494 injured in Israel's war on Gaza since October the 7th. Ukrainian strikes on parts of the Russian-held Luhansk and Kherson regions killed 26 people and injured dozens more on Friday, occupation authorities said. A shop in the village of Sadove in the southern Kherson region with a large number of visitors and employees was destroyed, Vladimir Saldo, head of Russian authorities in Kherson, wrote on Telegram. A HIMARS missile struck shortly afterwards as residents from neighboring houses rushed to help the victims, Saldo told Russian media, putting the overall toll at 22 dead and 15 injured. Saldo condemned the vile murder of civilians made possible by Western arms deliveries to Ukraine. Early on Friday, Russian-appointed officials in Luhansk reported that a Ukrainian missile strike on an apartment block in the eastern region's main city of the same name killed 4 and wounded more than 40. A mammoth 4-day 27-country European election is coming to a close today. Tens of millions across the European Union voted today in EU parliamentary elections in a massive exercise of democracy that is expected to shift the bloc to the right and redirect its future. The war in Ukraine, migration, and the impact of climate policy on farmers are some of the issues weighing on voters' minds as they cast ballots to elect 720 members of the European Parliament. First estimates have started coming in from around 17 BST, and the first projection of the new parliament will start coming 2 hours later. It is the first time since 1979 that the UK is not voting in a European election. Iran today announced 6 candidates, mostly conservatives, approved for June 20th election to replace President Ibrahim Raisi, who was killed in a helicopter crash. The candidates announced by the Interior Ministry were selected from 80 registered hopefuls by the Guardian Council, which oversees elections in the Islamic Republic. Among those approved are the Conservative Speaker of Parliament, Mohammad Bagir Ghalibaf, the ultra-conservative former nuclear negotiator Saeed Jalili, Conservative former Interior Minister Mustafa Por Mohammadi, Conservative Tehran Mayor Ali Reza Zakhani, and incumbent Vice President Amir Hussain Ghazizadeh Hashemi. Just one reformist candidate, Masoud Pezeshkian, who is a lawmaker representing Tabriz in Iran's parliament, has been approved. Now weather. Met Office in its weather forecast till 6 p.m. tomorrow said light to moderate rain or thunder showers accompanied by temporary gusty wind is likely to occur at many places over Rangpur, Mymensingh and Sylhet divisions, at a few places over Rajshahi, Dhaka and Chattogram divisions, and at 1 or 2 places over Khulna and Borishal divisions. Besides moderately heavy to heavy falls at places over Rangpur, Mymensingh and Sylhet divisions. Day and night temperature may remain nearly unchanged over the country, said the Met Office. Now, news on sports. Bangladesh will face South Africa in the ICC T20 World Cup tomorrow. The match will be held at Nassau County International Cricket Stadium in New York at 8:30 p.m. Bangladesh Standard Time. Earlier, the Tigers started the World Cup journey with a victory over Sri Lanka by 2 wickets in the first match in Dallas. And now to end the bulletin, a recap of the top stories. Narendra Modi sworn in as Indian Prime Minister for the 3rd consecutive term in a ceremony in New Delhi, attended by world leaders including Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. Looters were not punished during BNP regime, but Awami League will not spare any corrupt person, says Obaidul Qadir. Last phase of 6 Upazilla Parishad elections concludes with vote counting underway in 19 Upazillas suspended earlier due to cyclone Rimal. Bangladesh Journalist Welfare Trust is an evidence of Sheikh Hasina-led government's goodwill in protecting the journalists, says State Minister of Information and Broadcasting Muhammad Ali Arafat. Hamas announces to continue resistance against Israel as Israeli attacks killed 274 more Palestinians in the last 24 hours in Gaza. And Bangladesh face South Africa in ICC T20 World Cup tomorrow in New York. And that's all from the newsroom for the moment. Thank you indeed for joining us, and we invite you to watch 11:30 Bangla News. Until then, Khuda Hafiz.